This conference will now be recorded.
Chad, we're ready.
I'm gonna go ahead and call this city council July 24th, 2023 to order. All are present. Stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda if there's not any corrections.
So move.
Have a motion by Lauren and a second by Jan to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda items.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Lauren to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Public hearings, we'll open it up for vacate of alley hearing. And we'll
You
move
want
down,
any comments on that, Jason?
No, I don't. Do you want me at the podium or?
but you can stay there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're fine.
Good, I like that. For your consideration here tonight is a request to vacate the alley, basically running east or west between Cedar and Birch. I've got a map that really identifies it better than just that general description that I gave you guys. Tony and I had a number of discussions about it. It does require public hearings for your consideration here tonight.
Just for your information, I did not have anybody reach out to me after the notices were published wanting to give you guys any information or anything like that, so. My recommendation is you leave the hearing open until,
The end.
yep, if somebody wants to speak,
Yep.
can speak and we can move on.
So what is the purpose of vacating it? We just don't have to maintain it any longer?
Yeah, basically, and then the property owners can use the property as well.
Oh, okay.
There's a easement for our utilities.
I had somebody ask me, it must come off, not must, but she's thinking that it must come off of the city rolls, and then those landowners that get part of it will go on to theirs, and then everybody gets reassessed to have a different value.
As soon as everything's done, then Jason will draft that documentation and go over to them.
Okay.
But that is exactly what happens. Typically, the county will split it in half. Property owner to the north gets half, property owner to the south gets half. There are some exceptions to that general rule. For instance, if one of those properties had previously given it to the city and it really belonged to one of the parcels, then it would go back to that particular parcel. And I haven't spent a whole lot of time into the chain of title or anything like that. But it's my understanding that it's gonna be halved.
Is there any cost for surveying or having the plat maps redone?
No,
No, it's all,
correct. The county basically will flip a switch and divide it.
okay.
And then just as Mr. Casey had indicated, it goes onto that tax roll, and then you'll see a little bit of increase, but
And their
don't get
property,
too excited about
the
it.
property descriptions will be changed too to reflect.
Yes, that the vacated alley is now part of their description.
Oh,
Yeah, because I have one to the south of my house that hasn't been used for years, but when I was a kid growing up here, it was an alley. It was regularly used.
Sure.
They just make a formal request to,
Just to me, and then basically what happens is we have to, anybody that would abut that would
Yeah,
be
there's-
given a notice and decide if they want to.
there's quite a few pieces of property. I mean, I would just look, I've never thought about doing that. I don't know. But it doesn't get used as an alley any longer.
Is there even a curb cut out?
That's exactly right. It would not be used as an alley any longer, so, if anyone had sheds or garages back there,
Oh, yeah, there are.
that would be problematic.
Mhm.
I'll drop the idea. I don't need to take anybody off.
You can skip the resolution
Yep.
until then.
Now we're gonna move down to Bob.
Okay. Sorry, Blake.
sorry.
So at the care center, operation wise, we had
pretty good month. Average census at 36.3. As you can see the numbers there for Medicaid, private. Medicare A was down significantly. We budget for 6 and we had 0.71 people. Sounds odd, doesn't it? Managed care, we budget for 4 and we had less than half a person. Average out throughout the month. We did have 6 admissions and 2 discharges to home through the month of June, however, so that was very nice. Net income of more than $30,000, closer to 50. That was driven a lot. There was a big change from May to June because in May we were using more agency staffing than we did in June, and we had more or fewer residents, of course. But in June, we also had a better turn on investment. So we had a positive instead of a negative that month. $9,000-$10,000. So it was a good month. Our audit will be delivered in August. I am not certain of what day. I
She's
understand.
tentatively on the schedule for the next council meeting to present.
Okay. So,
I do have a copy of the preliminary, which I forwarded on to Abdo. So,
Okay. I don't understand why it takes them so long.
well, Clifton Larson Allen is the preliminary company for healthcare across the United States to be
Mhm.
using. They know all the rules, they know the regs, they know all the fun stuff. So,
They know how to drain it out too.
yeah, I did talk to Dale.
Yeah.
I had a stern but polite conversation with Dale and expressed my frustration that this is the second year in a row that we're getting up against this, threatened to lose our LGA funding because of the piece of the audit that's missing. Ours has been done since May, and we can't file it until theirs is done. So, and he told me, well, they got a lot of junior partners they're trying to bring in and train on, and then I'm like, I get that, but you still have to publish a product, you still have to deliver. Yeah, and so I did make some recommendations to Bob that maybe next year there's some timelines involved in that, and that if they fail to meet those timelines, there's some sort of discount involved with that, or
Yeah, 'cause they
something
get
else, or-
pretty penny to do them.
But it's
Yeah.
this is the second year in a row I've had to request an extension, and I'm as long as it gets delivered in the first week of August or 2, we'll be fine.
Are they the only company that can do that for us?
Well,
They're not-
like Bob said, they're kind of the health.
The go-to people.
yeah, they're the go-to people. They're not the only people, but they are the go-to people.
All right.
Our healthcare organization, Leading Age Minnesota, strongly urges people to use it. So yes, that's kind of the way we look at that. So, and then I can move down to projects. Our driveway will be getting done, I believe it's the first week of August. They're gonna be filling potholes and cracks, resurfacing, restriping, take care of the whole works. Hasn't been done for a long time and we need it badly. So we're looking forward to that, but keep in mind when you come to the nursing home, that first week of August, there may be some spots you can't park, possibly drive. Our staff are gonna probably have to park to the back on the south side of the hedgerow out in the lot over there for the time being, so that he can finish that project in a timely manner.
Okay.
And then looking into the next few months, or several months, I should have said, potential renovation of a tub room, a complete renovation of that tub room with a new fixtures and everything. And a potentially larger tub to take on bariatric patients. We talked about that at meetings in the past. It's something that we're looking at doing. And the ceiling lifts to accommodate bariatric residents. Because in August, we
we will receive some money from the state that would help us complete these projects. It's only 4 building projects or long-term debt. And since we really don't have a lot of long-term debt, we're gonna build the projects.
Okay.
Celebrations that we had, CNA week was observed in June. They had a special meal and gifts for the CNAs. The meal was for everybody, obviously. The gifts for the CNAs. Party for Kathy Hinckley's retirement with the residents and staff was on her last day. And later that evening up here at City Hall, that went well. Both parties were full. She had a great send-off. She's doing well. And then to mention, everyone enjoyed partaking in the parade. The residents really got a kick out of that. It's something they love to do, as long as they can sit in the air conditioning. Staffing, we still have openings for certified nurse aides, RNs and LPNs, and bus driver. So if you know anybody that would like, I might have somebody interested in bus driving, but on a limited part-time basis. But if you know anybody in any of those positions, please forward them to us. That would be wonderful. We'd like to fill up and not have to use agency staffing any longer. And we're gonna limit this to certified nurse aides right now. Through the summer, we have been fortunate enough to have 7 young ladies that were nursing assistants, uncertified. They came and worked for us. They did all their work. They're going through the skills testing and the knowledge test. So far, one of them has completed all of it. I think 4 of them have completed the knowledge test, and we have a couple more yet to go, and they will be certified nurse aides. Wonderful. So the high school's been very good at finding us some people.
I know I was talking to one of the high school girls that works there. She was so excited because her goal was to get $1,000 check this summer. And she did get 2 40-hour work weeks. And so she had a take-home check of over $1,000 or made $1,000. So
Yeah.
she was excited. Well, money for young kids.
Yes, it is.
I do have 2 questions if you're done.
I got a little bit.
How have the Summerburst concerts been received by the residents?
The what?
Summerburst concerts?
The music concerts on Sundays?
Oh, I haven't heard anything about that.
Had the White Sidewalls last month, and yesterday was
Gavin Bergen.
Gavin Bergen.
Megan Krause.
I've not heard anything.
Okay. And then the other thing, and maybe Tony can answer this too, is where they did the drainage work down there, and it's gravel now across there. Is that the city, or can when you're doing the parking lot go
That
out?
street is being done this year.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's really close to the proper,
How
where
far is
probably
that
they end and where the city ends.
Eric would have to answer that. It's right up to the end of the street.
Yeah, it's probably right on the property line. Okay, I was just curious.
That's why it was done now, because they're gonna redo the street.
Okay, all right, okay. So it won't be your responsibility.
Right.
Okay,
Also wanted to mention, do not want to leave these people out. We have new board members, advisory board members. I think I mentioned Brian Verma last month, but if I did not, I apologize. Brian came on last month. He's looking forward to serving the community. Judy Ritter is coming on board this month, and Dr. Cheryl Pratt is also coming on board this month. Good conversation with all of them. They had a lot of good questions and some good input.
Full run?
And we will be full at 5.
Awesome.
Yep. So.
That's the first time in a long time.
yeah, long time.
Good.
Anything else for me?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Lauren and a second by Jody to approve the care center report. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Pass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
People service, Shell's on vacation, so.
All right, rightfully deserved.
She works hard. So, nothing too crazy other than, during smoke testing, they did identify one residence that had some problems. That person was notified and they are in the process of connecting with Shell to identify and figure out what needs to be done to fix that problem. Outside of that, Shell had some stuff, the Waller Welding created a snail catcher. Long story short, she's got most of her snails taken care of, and this new thing that she got done should help her with what she needs help with. So everything's going good up there.
25.
I know.
And once again, snails are a good thing and a bad
Right.
thing. So I mean, it means your water's good, but they're a pain.
Where'd the snails go then?
They're disposed of with that, however, the PCA requires them to be. I off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. So that's it for
Up
public
with
service.
30.
Move to approve.
Have a motion by Lauren and a second by Janda to approve people service report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Street maintenance report.
Eric contacted me, he had something come up, and couldn't make it. 25 blue cards, 1 shut off. I believe that person's back on. They completed the catch basins by the care center. We had some issues here at City Hall. We had a water spot that kept developing, we couldn't figure out what it was, and had them check on it. And long story short, it was from the softener that was put in, but it was because that we had some issues with some plugs. So we had Jenny come in, and there was actually 2 big spots that were plugged in City Hall that they were able to take care of. So, and a couple new shutoffs. I don't know if you've been past Legion Field, but they've pulled all the backstops. Everything's ready to go for that installation. They did the DNR lead and copper test. That's where they randomly go to 10 different houses in town and test everything, and that all came back great. So what we're looking for is we need to do we still have quite a bit of money left in the capital fund for the Legion Field for this year. To cement the Legion Field project, we're looking to fix some problems in the infield and outfield. Luke Doberstein's able to do that for $2,743.75. So I would recommend the council to approve that and get that done this fall yet, so that we can seed everything and that's ready to go for spring.
What is he trying to fix?
So there's in the infield grass, there's a hump at the end from where when they run the sand, it piles up and it puts up. And then on the outfield side as well. So like when the ball's coming in the infield, it hits that hump and goes over. So Luke's gonna take out like 4 feet on the infield side and 4 feet on the outfield side, kind of regrade everything and then put it back.
So it'll just be sanding in the grass, a little bump, and that's it.
Yep, and then as part of that project, Mr. Reese and Jeff Reese and Mark Domeyer and a couple of the baseball kids are gonna reshape the pitcher's mound and home plate as well to help with some of the drainage problems that they're having with water. That's part of that cost.
Good.
I move to approve that baseball field fix.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Jason to approve the baseball field to be fixed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Then the other thing is the dugout, we would like to make that look like the other dugout. There's some wood that's bad because of the flood and things like that. Cement's in good shape, wood is all in good shape, roof is all in good shape. Basically, it's just ripping off the old wood on the dugout. And now is the time to do it since the bleachers are pulled back, so we can get that other side of the dugout. So it'd be just tin on the dugout and then tin over the top of the other piece. We got 2 quotes on that.
Which dugout, the third base or first?
Third base.
Third base.
Yeah, the home dugout.
Where the
Okay.
garage is?
Where the garage is, yeah.
All right.
So, 2 quotes on that. Todd Neitzel, 3,600 and Jesse Rell, 5,300. So, approve one of those quotes.
So move.
Which one did you want to approve?
Oh, Neitzel?
Have a motion by Lauren and a second by Janda to approve new tin on the dugout for 3,600. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, pass.
And I believe that's it for this report.
Do we know where they're at with the, water lead lines to know?
And I didn't put that in my report, I submitted a grant application for the, each city gets up to $75,000 to do the research and stuff, and so I just submitted that grant 2 weeks ago. And so we're kind of right on the timeline to get stuff done. So.
Tony, is the city much involved with Highway 30 now?
No.
Eric, really not
No.
much to do.
We don't even know what they're doing, other than the fact Eric called them one day and said, please don't do this during Farm and City Days. And they said, no problem, we're not doing it during Farm and City Days. But I don't even know if I don't know if they're just doing oil and rock, or
They've
if they're
been
doing
hauling a lot of rock.
But a
There's
pile of
tons
rock
of
back
rock
there,
out there,
yeah.
So that's what I'm assuming they're doing, but I have not heard when they're gonna start, although signs did show up this weekend.
Weekend, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the painting. I think the yellow and the blue
Yeah.
and do we stripe Maine?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay.
I move to approve the street maintenance report.
I'll second that.
There you go.
Good. Should have moved to a second.
Mo- Have-
Sorry.
I was just reading the fire report, sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Jason to approve the street department report. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
All opposed, pass.
All right, I just wanted to give you a quick little update on St. Olaf. The concession stand basically tanked. So nobody is buying stuff from the concession stand outside of just the lessons hours. So we have just changed our hours to only be open the concession stand, only while the lifeguards are there. The lake has actually not been used as much as we anticipated that it was going to be used this year. So now we're also only doing lifeguards during lessons for the remainder of the year. So.
I think it's some of the issues is just so many damn weeds.
Yeah, and so we're not gonna do the concession stand next year. It's not worth us trying to subsidize the concession stand. So, but we're gonna, Sarah Jo and I are still gonna work with Macy to try to get the culinary kids to maybe come up with some type of program to run something over the summer. Outside of that, lessons, we had like a 20% increase in people signed up for lessons just due to Geneva not having a pool open. So.
Didn't I see something in the report here that we've contracted or gotten something for cleaning those weeds out?
No, Eric's done his thing a couple times, but that's it. Yeah, that wasn't my report.
Isn't there a harvester we could get to kind of,
The county has a harvester, but Chad knows more about that than I do. I don't think they have any plans to come down here.
Not either next year or the year after is when they're slated for to do St. Olaf.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's all I got.
Okay.
All right. Move down to THC law.
This is a big one. This is probably gonna be one of the biggest law changes that I personally have ever seen. I've been practicing 22 years. This is a big change for law enforcement, big change for all of us in the legal community. The 2023 legislative session was incredibly busy. 2024 is also gonna be fairly busy if you look at the docket of bills that's coming up. A lot of stuff happened, and like I say, this is one of the big ones. I sent you guys a memo basically outlining the new THC law. Basically, two major dates to pay attention to: July 1st, which of course already passed, but basically July 1st was the date that the Department of Cannabis was set up and funded by the state, by the legislature. Department of Cannabis basically is empowered under Chapter 342 or Chapter 68 to essentially regulate recreational marijuana in the state of Minnesota. They've been funded. They are up and running. And basically, this Department of Cannabis is going to be the licensing authority for recreational cannabis. You guys won't have a whole lot of say over this issue in New Richland. The Department of Cannabis is going to send out applications to applicants, and the Department of Public Safety through the state will do the background check, so you guys won't even have to do the background check. And they'll essentially reach out to administration and see if we have any objection to a retailer setting up shop in town, but you're not going to have a whole lot of say in this. The law really kicks into effect starting August 1st. You guys will be getting these questions. August 1st, recreational marijuana is going to be legal here in Minnesota. Just for you guys' knowledge, you know, if residents ask, individuals can possess up to 2 pounds in their home. That is an extraordinarily large amount.
It is.
Other states that have passed recreational marijuana, there are a couple that have a 2-pound limit, but it's 2 pounds is a lot. That's 2 pounds at home. You're allowed 2 ounces on your person, in your motor vehicle on your person. And like I say, you guys aren't going to have a whole lot of say in this. You will have some say into where these locations can go to some extent. And Tony and I will be working through this. We'll likely be updating some planning and zoning ordinances. We're probably also going to recommend to you guys where people can use. Right now, there's some ambiguity in the law, a little bit of wiggle room. You can, in theory, pass some ordinances where people can use recreational marijuana. For instance, if you don't want it happening on a playground, or you don't want it happening at the ball field, concession stand, you can pass those types of ordinances. And we'll be getting some of those to you for consideration probably this winter. The other area that you'll have some regulation on is how many licenses can be issued in New Richland. State law says that you have to allow at least 1. So it's not something that you're going to be able to say no to. You're going to have to allow at least 1. And then from there, it's at least 1 license for every 12,500.
Wow.
So you guys will be having 1. And like I just said, you're not going to have a whole lot of say in who gets that license, or you know, you're not going to have a whole lot of regulation on that. That's all going to be through the Department of Cannabis. But you are going to have to allow at least 1. There are going to be some restrictions in the personnel policy that are on the way as to who can use on city staff, you know, public works, that sort of thing. The law basically, as it is written right now, is anyone holding a CDL really can't use. And we would likely extend that to police, fire, and public works. And then we'll also be, you know, dusting off the personnel policy basically to the effect that you can't use during company time, can't use on your break, can't use during the lunch hour, that sort of thing. But other than that, you're not going to have a whole lot of say on this stuff. One question that I'm getting a lot of is, when is this coming? When is this happening? Well, right now, the Department of Cannabis is funded, but they're in no position to be issuing licenses. And they're probably not going to be in a position to issue licenses until at least mid next year. And even that is going to be a real push. So what some cities are doing, and even some counties, and really Mankato was the one that started this about a month and a half ago, is they are cities and counties are passing moratoriums on this. The laws that's written right now says that you can pass an interim ordinance, a moratorium, that you're not going to have any retail sales in town for a certain period of time. And that period of time can be up to January 1, 2025. After January 1, 2025, you have to allow it. But you do have the option of saying no until January 1, 2025. I know Waseca County just last week passed one. This is your town, you know, you guys have the say. So it really truly is up to you if you do want to go that route. You certainly can. And what that does is it gives us some time to pass these interim ordinances again on where you can use, cap on licenses, dust off the planning and zoning regs, and then also get the personnel policy fully up to date. After January 1, 2025, you're gonna have to. So, we can only delay it so long, and that's as far as we can go.
So I have a question for you. I'm just trying to visualize in my mind, just what you wrote, 1,000 feet from such things as schools, treatment centers, playgrounds, athletic fields. Visualize in my mind if you took a compass and put it on the school district and went 1,000 feet, then went over here to the care center and put 1,000 feet, then you went to the athletic field and put 1,000 feet. Most everything's going to be on that end of town. But
That's where I live.
yeah, okay. You and Barkley, that'll be fine.
I'll tell him that.
Can you make it, I suppose you cannot make it, can you make it more restrictive than the 1,500 feet? Or I'm sure you can't make it less restrictive. But could you make it more restrictive?
You can't make it more restrictive.
Okay.
The state law says up to 1,000 feet.
Okay.
So you couldn't be more restrictive.
Well, let's look at this in a common sense attitude. If we wanted somebody to sell it on the main street where most of the business is done, then can we make it less than that 1,000 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at, if you have a time frame for moratorium, if there's other people that are selling that stuff before we are, does the city get any type of tax benefit from selling THC?
Not necessarily. What you will do is basically the state is going to tax this at about 10% on top of the regular sales tax.
Okay.
And at some point in time, then that extra 10% from cannabis is going to be funneled back to the county and then to the city.
Different than LGA?
It's,
Or in LGA?
It'll be completely different than LGA, but it'll be a similar workout like that.
Then I think we should take every advantage we can of that concept.
Correct. But you'll essentially be splitting it with the county.
It's still,
Right, it's money that you didn't have before.
okay, we shouldn't throw it away.
And how much that's gonna be, I have no idea.
Because you don't know how many people want to buy it.
No, and, I mean, I anticipate those checks will be 2026, 2027. This will require a public hearing
Right,
tonight. Tonight is just the first reading, so if you guys want to go forward with this, what you would have to do is call for a public hearing.
One of the things you had mentioned in this memo was for private residents that they could have up to 2 pounds. So like apartments, are they not allowed to have it in an apartment building because it's a multifamily? No, they can still have it there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, because I had heard
Each
otherwise,
They're
so.
growing.
Each apartment would be allowed 2 pounds,
Correct,
because that's a
Yeah.
domicile.
correct.
What about growing it? Is
Eight
that a wholly different story?
That's how you get your 2 pounds.
Unless you want to buy
But I
it.
mean, is there anything in any of this legislation and ordinances or policies saying where and what can be grown in a town?
There is a cap on the number of flowering plants that you can have. I want to say that that's 8.
I think it is a.
Yes, it was, I remember that.
Yeah, I want to say that it's 8.
So that's already been delineated and we can't delineate any further?
No.
You cannot.
That's what I thought. Okay, just want to make sure.
And you said the state is gonna be the one that decides who, if they apply for a license for it, they're the ones deciding who gets the license for your
Correct.
town? So like, if, say, the city wanted to license it themselves to kind of control that, we can't do that, because we don't know if they'll take it.
Can't do it.
Does an individual homeowner have to apply for a license to grow it for their own personal
No.
consumption? That's what I thought.
This is just for retail sales.
And they cannot grow it for commercial until they get a commercial license?
Right.
Or can they not even grow it in town for commercial?
Can't grow it for commercial unless you have a commercial license.
But I mean, I know that, but can you still grow it in town if you have a commercial license? Or are they saying, no, you cannot do it in a town
No,
for commercial?
you could, as long as you have a license.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that,
Could we make it more restrictive?
no,
Damn it.
no, can't do that.
Okay.
We're
The
gonna
only-
plant it all on 7th Street. We're gonna make a profit off that homestake development.
Just plow it up and start,
Plow it up, plant it. I've said
plow
that
it up
a long
and start
time.
planting it. Let's go.
I think the best thing, like Jason said, is
Sweet
to
corn and
look at this moratorium, which gives us some time to look at everything and get stuff figured out and where it's gonna go and how it's gonna work. And if you wanna do that, I guess my recommendation would be to, make a motion to have a public hearing
We need 2 weeks?
at the August 14th meeting, which will give us the time to notify the paper.
I'll make a motion to have a public hearing for the THC issue for August, what? date was it?
14th.
14th.
At 6:35.
Yep, 6:30. Yeah.
Second.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Lauren to have a public
Jason.
hearing, or Jason, sorry. Motion by Jason, second by Lauren to have a public hearing on the THC stuff on August 14th at 6:35. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Just a couple more points. Back to your point, essentially, the Department of Cannabis is gonna make one contact with the city and ask, is it compliant with zoning? And then after that, it's outside of our control. It will be treated very similar to alcohol, just like you do with your alcohol license.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any more questions on it? Like I say, it's a complicated issue. It's the biggest law change, frankly, that I've ever seen. Other than that, probably should just give you a quick update on some of the stuff that happened at the legislature. Starting January 1, 2026, you'll have to offer the 12 weeks of paid family leave.
Yep.
I don't know if Tony's told you about that, but that's on its way. There was a 2-year moratorium also put on by the state for local sales taxes. You guys don't do local sales tax here, but
No.
at some point in time, if you wanted to fund certain projects, law allows you to do up to 0.5%, in some situations a full percent, to fund certain projects in town. You won't be able to do it for 2 years because the legislature put a moratorium on that.
What's the reason?
I think that there were a lot of cities that were taking advantage of that, and essentially this small group that is supposed to be working with the legislature managing that was kind of swamped and inundated. Basically, they want to take a look at.
Because it goes to the state and then comes back to us.
Correct, correct. And I think they were essentially swamped and they want to take a look at it and see if there's a way that it can be streamlined and made a lot easier. Some cities do have sales taxes. Of the 10 that I'm city attorney for, only one does. There are a couple that are looking at doing it, but
Well, the county's got one.
yes, the county does.
But doesn't that 0.5% also go for like improvements like a community center, that type of thing? It can't be just for anything you want to spend it for,
You
correct?
can't. In fact, in order to get the legislature's approval to charge the sales tax, you have to have a specifically identified project, like a community center or a ball field.
Streets or infrastructure?
No.
Can't do it for that, you know?
I just want to
Yeah,
check it out.
no, good question, but
County
Yeah.
can do it for roads and bridges, we can't do it.
it almost has to be like a shovel-ready brick and mortar project. Other than that, I took care of the Charlene Pham thing out at the Homestake Edition. You guys had,
Forgot to mention that today, but that's all back in our name now.
Great.
Good,
yeah, she was
That
supposed
last
to
lot
build
in
it.
the corner. that's
3 years ago, yeah.
good.
So that's back in you guys' control, or in the EDA's control.
It's just another lot to grow pot.
That lot, we get lots of questions on. That lot.
Yeah, that's it.
That lot will be the next one.
Is that the northwest corner?
Yeah.
That'll be the next lot that moves.
Before we move off on the pot, I should mention, because if I don't, somebody will say, why didn't you tell us this? You can, as a city, set up a municipal dispensary, believe it or not, just like you can set up a municipal liquor store. Now, the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust is strongly recommending that cities don't do that because of the liability associated. But you guys do have, and maybe you want to think about it a little bit, you guys do have the ability to open up a municipal dispensary. And Tony's probably going to want to shoot me for even bringing that idea up, because that comes
No.
with all kinds of stuff. But can, just like alcohol, you can have a municipal,
Does a municipal dispensary have to be on city property
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
within the city limits?
within the city limits. Something to think about, or not think about.
Nothing about
Yeah.
We have a hard time finding people to work at the care center, much
Yeah.
less that.
it. Why do we want to be involved in it?
Well,
No, I don't.
they would probably use up all the profits.
I'll be getting the votes to pass it.
Yeah, that would
I'll
not
go
happen.
twice against that.
Thank you.
So that's all I got. If you guys have anything for me.
Would the municipal dispensary have to be put forward to the general public on a vote, or would we be doing it?
You guys would be taking it.
I'm just thinking.
You guys would.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
You too.
Jason makes a motion to accept his report.
Considering contracting with Jobs Plus for City Hall, Library, Fire Hall.
Okay, so long story short, we've had 3 people and basically all of them have come into problems and we can never have regular things taken care of. So we were looking at this for the 2024 budget, but with the current situation with our current employees, we are hoping to take advantage of this now. Just for your reference, it looks potentially to save actually $2,000 a year on the budget for the cleaning of those 3 places. So
For the rest of this year or next year?
that's for next year's
Next year.
budget, but so we would still be under budget for this year because it's less than what we're paying our janitorial staff. So I would recommend the council approve that contract.
I so move.
A question about, you mentioned with the weekend stuff in there.
So basically, city staff, Sarah Jo and I will just have to probably pop in and dump, or Eric or whoever, and just make sure the bathrooms are clean and stuff stopped.
Okay.
Were they going to look at that possibly in the future, or to see if anybody could do it?
Yeah, I mean,
Or-
very rarely do we have 2 things going on at the same time on a weekend, so it shouldn't really impact much of anything. But if we know ahead of time, they will come in on the weekends and work. So.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, well, they even say in their letter they're gonna look for people, so they might find someone.
I'm assuming that would be a higher rate then.
Charge more.
Do we already have a motion?
Lauren?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll second it then.
I have a motion by Lauren and a second by Janda to approve the contract with Jobs Plus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Administrators report.
Do you wanna go back to your
Oh.
hearing and close that and then do the resolution?
Sure. Nobody's contesting, so we'll move down to resolution 23-13, a resolution vacating the alley.
Move to approve resolution 2313.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Jason to approve the vacating of the alley, resolution 23-13. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Now we'll move to the administrator's
I'd like to
report.
ask a question before we get to that.
Okay.
When you mentioned on the municipal dispensary, you said you might not want to do it because of the legal ramifications. Are there any more concerns with legal ramifications of a dispensary compared to a municipal liquor store?
There really are.
They're both about the same, right?
Correct,
Somebody's gonna do something stupid and get killed.
correct,
So insurance could take care of that.
correct.
Thank you.
It would be ran and operated and insured just as you would a municipal liquor store.
Thank you.
Do you guys have a?
Yes. Yes.
No,
I didn't think that you did.
You do.
Long time.
we used to.
20 years.
Longer than that.
All right, so as I believe I told you last time, the state of Minnesota accepted the disaster from the flooding as a state disaster, so we qualify for that aid. So I have submitted a disaster assistance application for that, and basically, from what I understand, is if we have costs that are not paid for by the League of Minnesota Cities regarding our insurance claim, that can be paid for with the state aid. So League of Minnesota Cities does not pay for anything underground. So like that blow up that we had of our sewer system on 7th, that stuff would now be able to be paid with this federal or the state money. So we'll get that all straightened out.
So that would include some of the issues we had with the sewer stuff or not
Probably
at
not.
the plant?
No. Well,
Is
League of
it-
Minnesota Cities is probably covering that.
Okay.
So that, Eric and I met with the engineer regarding our 2024 street improvement projects and trying to get idea of where we want to go with that process. Currently working with the department heads on capital plan. If stop your head or look in the office quick, we have a whole mess of stuff on there trying to figure out a 5-year plan so that we can have that all ready to go for budget time. Eric and I met with the contractors for the ball field upgrades, which we'd already talked about tonight. We filed and paid the federal excise tax on the health insurance, paid out PFA loan principal and interest. I was able to attend a phenomenal training in Shoreview with Dr. Dave Webb, home run leadership training that was really awesome. And it's going to make some decision-making stuff much easier here going forward. So I'll share that stuff with you in the future. We are looking at a possible website change. Gov Office, we've been with them for as long as I think we've had a website here at the city, and it's been like $650, $700 a year. That's what they charge us. After this next contract is over, which is at the end of 2024, it's going up to $2,500 a year, and then a built-in 6% increase every year as part of that contract. So I did meet with another website company, TownWeb is what it's called, and very impressed with their product. Their product also includes mobile text messaging, so we'd be able to not pay for the mobile text messaging that we are and built that in the website.
Mm-hmm.
Thing that I like about their product is
Are they in
Real
Minnesota
quick.
based?
This is their, this is basically their website, but long story short, the emergency alert bar off the top is something that we can use to do basically like our text alerts. And from the back side of this website, in one box, I can click email, text alert, and post it on there. And anybody who signed up for our text alerts will automatically get that at the same time. Anybody who's got email alerts will get that at the same time. On the bottom, this green one only shows up, or the green one's on all the time. The red one only shows up if there's an emergency. But then on the back side of this, people can sign up for whatever they want to. It's all great, so that if you want to just get minutes and agendas from all the council meetings, as soon as I post that on there, it'll spit it out to everybody who wants it. They'll have everything there. It's a really good venue. They will match our price with the Gov Office for the first year, and then after that, it's $2,000 a year, period, end of story. For the
No increases.
for 5 years. Yeah. So I want to talk to Gov Office and see what their bottom price is and stuff. And obviously, we don't need to necessarily make this. We have to be live January 1 of 2025. Otherwise, we'll lose our Gov Office site if we don't want to pay for it. But it'll be on the agenda for the next couple.
How much do we pay for that texting stuff?
It's about $400 a year. So, yeah. But I'll have more information for you at a later time. Just know that it's coming. That it's
All right.
probably gonna
Good.
have some other changes.
Good. So employee recognition, Sierra Miskin, and as a lifeguard out at St. Ol, her birthday is on the 9th of August, Mike Abbott on the 11th, and then Braden Thompson will have, I didn't put it on there.
1 year, isn't it?
Yeah,
Two.
I think it's two.
Two.
Yeah.
I think it is two.
It's more than
Yeah.
one.
It's two, yeah.
You're right, it's two.
So that's what I got for you.
A motion to approve the administrator's report.
Have a second by a motion to approve by Jody and a second by Lauren. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pat, mayor and council comments. Anybody got anything?
Nothing's from you.
I don't have anything. What a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Lauren to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.